Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today on why cybersecurity matters for small businesses. I'd like to start off by reading a quote DarkSide, the group of hackers that hacked the Colonial Pipeline a few months ago, posted on their website after the attack. Our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society. If your practice was victim to a cyber attack today, would the hackers make money? And would it create a problem in your world or your patient's world and the world of healthcare? The answer is yes. So we're here today to address a very important topic, cybersecurity. Over the next 40 minutes or so, we'll share a high level why cybersecurity is important more than ever for small businesses. And be sure to stay tuned until the end. We have something special for you. So you'll learn a lot of relevant information and useful information during the session. And we also anticipate future sessions this year going into more of the details on the areas of cybersecurity that we'll discuss today. The session will be recorded and a link will be emailed to everyone. So I have with me today Vlad, who is one of our network engineers at Microwise, and I'll hand it over to Vlad to get us started.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. See my screen, right, Justina?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So let's start. No matter the size of your company or organization, cybersecurity is a crucial element for the continued success. You, your team, your company or community group will learn the steps for understanding cybersecurity risks and the steps to mitigate them. While many elements related to cybersecurity are technical, the goal of today's presentation is to give you the plan of action. No one knows your business as well as you do, and no one can start the process for ensuring your business is protected and resilient in the face for non-stop threats for cyber-related harm, whether accidental, criminal, or malicious. Let me ask you some questions. You don't need to answer it right now, but just think about it. If an employee wanted to print a personal document, would you allow it? What security risk might accompany this simple act? Does your business have an online presence such as website or social media accounts? Who manage the account and how do they secure it? Are they reusing password or accessing these accounts or insecure systems? Was the website originally designed with the security in mind? Have you added capabilities such as online ordering or inventory management that could be attractive to criminals? Who has access to your company's banking? Do you have policies in place to prevent malicious use via social engineering? Are your employees trained on how to recognize possible fraud? If someone sent an email on Friday afternoon insisting on emergency wire transfer of funds on your behalf, what mechanisms do you have to identify a real request from a fake one? If you have never asked yourself of these questions and don't know what to do about them, you're in the right place. Let's go to the before we go to the second page, let me ask Justina to post some questions and you can answer it.
So we have a few poll questions throughout the session today. And the first one is, do you reuse passwords for accessing accounts?
Oh, the reports here. Focus on chiropractic.
All right, looks like we got most of the votes in, or the answers rather. So I'm gonna end the polling and share the results with anyone. So it looks like most of you don't reuse passwords. There's somebody that does. Don't worry, we'll share some tips on password management later in the session.
All right. So let's go to the slides. So key finding in the research include the 66% of organizations reported a significant loss of revenue following a ransomware attack. 53% of organizations indicated that their brand and reputation were damaged as a result of successful attack. 29% reported being forced to lay off employees due to financial pressures following a ransomware attack. And 26% of organizations reported their ransomware attack forced the business to close down the operation for some period of time. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, here you will see the organization reporting revenue loss by industry vertical, and unfortunately, the healthcare it's had a 64 percentage got the ransomware, and 560 healthcare provider fell victim to ransomware attack in 2020. Here, the 5 most significant cyber attack in 2020 based on breadth of system disruption and volume organization affected. The first one is the UVM Health Network shut down its IT system affected unidentified in October 28 cyber attack. The health system hasn't released detail about the attack, which infected 5,000 network computer. The system outage lasted for more than 40 days, and the health system resigned for 300 workers who were unable to do their jobs as a result of computer outage. The second one is Rock ransomware hit 6 hospitals in the US over the 24 hours period beginning October 26. The federal government reported a heated advisory on October 28, noting that list of 400 targeted hospitals has circulated among Russian hackers. In response to the attack, the unaffected health system across the US took preventative measures, including the preemptive email shutdowns and tightening security network to protect against future attack. The third one in the King of Prussia, PA-based Universal Health Service experienced a massive IT network outage beginning September 27. The health system disconnected its IT system after identifying a malware attack. The outage lasted of 8 days. UHS has hundreds of healthcare facilities across the US that reverted to downtown protocol and paper records during the outage. The first one is Nebraska Medicine in Omaha reported a computer network outage in September 20 because of security incident. The health system reverted a paper record during the outage, which lasted several days. Number 5 is more than 46 hospitals and health systems had patient information exposed in security breach in Buckbot, a company that stores donor information for organizations, including health system. The breach occurred February 7 to May 20, and company notified organization on breach only in July. Let's go to the slide. All right. In the small businesses community, some might think if you are really small, no cyber criminal would ever attack you. You might think, I have relatively little of value. Why would anyone choose me to target? Or perhaps even worse, that cybersecurity is a problem only a company with a technical staff can address. Cybersecurity is an important concern to every organization, large or small. In fact, the smaller your organization, the more vulnerable you may be. Unlike the breaches impacted large publicly traded companies, when a small business is hit with the breach, it may not become public knowledge or get reported in the local news, but the impact can be devastating. Take a moment and consider what you would feel if you found that your financial system was hacked and you had lost money, perhaps all your operating funds. Or if your customer data was lost and you couldn't recover sales information or leads you were in the process of managing. What if your business couldn't recover from the lost money, information, or reputation? Some common threats for small businesses include ransomware, in particular from the malicious software that cause computer can be locked by the criminal hoping to get you to pay literally a ransom to restore your access to your own data. Ransomware is often introduced to your environment by otherwise friendly service like email. Other problems could include hackers using your network to piggyback that access into larger, more secure system, betraying the trust your organization has created. Imagine if you had a partnership with a larger company where you were providing some special products or services. Now imagine if your lack of secure system or training had allowed a threat to compromise not only you, but your partner. By viewing or participating in this presentation, we hope to help you to become better informed for common cybersecurity issues for small businesses and method and system you can use to improve your security posture or reduce your risk for being victimized. Don't feel you can address this or the problem is someone else, but if you learn enough to decide that you need professional help in managing your cybersecurity program, that is also a good outcome to these materials. And before I move to the next slide, I will ask Justina to help me to ask you some questions.
So I'm going to launch the second poll, and the question is, do you give Office Network access to your employees' personal cell phones and laptop computers? So if anyone's not sure what that really means is, do they log in to your Wi-Fi on their cell phones or their laptop computers, or are their laptops connected to maybe your server in the office that has the patient data on it? All right, I'll just give it 10 more seconds. Okay, so it looks like 25% of people do give access to their employees' personal cell phones and laptops, and 75% don't.
Okay. Thank you, Justina. Let's go. In this section of the material, we will review a model to help you to start to consider the elements of your business that are at risk. The goal of your cybersecurity plan should be to protect not only from criminal activity, but also from indirect harm, such as never rarely back up your data and then suffering a mishap like an office fire or theft or losing important files and information. And the system we rely upon are increasing complex. Consider your home computing environment. Each member of your family may have a computer, a tablet, or phone. You may use it in cloud storage and backup system. Your digital camera's memory has the images of your family, vacation, or major life events. At work, your information is more financially critical, but just as complicated, if not more so. Customer, patient, and employee information included the personal identifiable information, sales information and product design data, emails about future business plans. The list is endless and varied about what you have got to keep safe, reliable, and protected. Whether you are securing the information of your family or that of your business, it requires detailed consideration to remain safe. Not only do we need to remain vigilant, but we need to prepare for bad things to happen and plan for ways to recognize the problems and recover from attack or loss. Another scary aspect for small businesses, cybersecurity, is you may not even be aware there is malware on your system or data has already been breached. A nationwide survey shows that 60% of small businesses have been victimized, but many don't realize it. Let's go to the next slide. Take a moment to consider how too complex a modern small business might be. Your grandparents or even your parents' generation could successfully manage a business with a little more than paper, possibly a computer and telephone connection. Today, the expectations of business, small or large, are far more complex. Just to get your business started, you created some form of technology present setting up emails, websites, and e-commerce. You want it to be easy to purchase your goods or for customers to pay their bills, so you likely set up online payment and banking system. You have integrated them with the customer data management system and give some of your employees access to them. As your business grows, so does the data you're managing, email records, employee information, customer data, sales system, inventories, history, tax information, licensing, and permits. The small businesses don't always realize that despite their smaller size and lower profile, they could be much bigger target to cyber criminals than a bigger organization. There are three reasons why your business could be attractive to bad actors and why you need to invest the time and resources to prepare and protect against an attack. Vulnerability. First, Small businesses may lack the staff and resources of large organizations to invest in their cybersecurity systems, and as a result, just might be easy to hack. Second, many attacks are automated. Infected emails going to hundreds of thousands of millions of addresses or via intrusion on web addresses all over the world. Sometimes small businesses just get swept up broader attack vector. Third, small business might not detect malware on intrusion or as a larger company, and this could allow a threat to remain on system for a much longer time, not only damaging the smaller company, but possibly allowing to cyber criminal to stage attack using the small business as a platform. Business costs. It's likely to be more painful for a small company to address a cybersecurity attacks and recover than for a larger company. There can be significant costs to recovery from common cyber attacks. And if the small business loses the intellectual property in the process, it's possible that the business will never be able to fully recover. Your business might not have cyber insurance or consultants you can leverage. Dealing with the aftermath of cybersecurity attack has a steep and painful learning curve to climb during the crisis. The third one is reputation. This is probably the scariest element for the small businesses. If you lose the trust of your customers, patients, how do you come back from that? Depending on the nature of your attack, you may have regulatory and legal concerns such as need to notify customers or patients or vendor of the breach or loss. What if this information gets shared on your local news? All right, let's go to the next slide and I will ask Justina to help us.
I have two questions now for everyone. So question 3 is, who sets the policy and decides what's safe and who should have access on your network at your practice? That policy would normally be set either on the server or on the firewall if you have one at your practice. Who sets the policy and decides what's safe and who should have access? Okay, I'll end the poll for that one. And the results show that for most people, it's the practice administrator, and some of you do have an IT company. And let me launch one more poll question. So question 4 for everyone is, what system do you use to communicate with employees and vendors? Do you use email, cell phone, office phone, instant messenger? Maybe something else, maybe all of them. Yeah, looks like most people, primary mode of contact or communication is email. Some people use cell phone, and the minority use office phone. Okay, awesome. Back to you, Vlad.
Thank you, Justina. Okay, in the previous section called Cybersecurity Basics, we talk about the big pictures of why cybersecurity is relevant to your work as a small business person. Understanding some of the most typical cybersecurity threats will also be useful as you consider the particular of your business and your information systems. In this section, we'll learn about the specific threat types you may encounter or hear about in the news. The first one is the phishing. When recipients clicking the link, however, they were taken to the page that installed and deployed malware. Ransomware. WannaCry was one of the most devastating ransomware attacks in history, affected several hundred of thousand machines and crippling banks, law enforcement agencies, and other infrastructures. Hacking. The hacker breached one of the big city bikes network, deleting the organization's entire database, disabling the public access to bicycles over the weekend. Imposter scam. Some scammer call and claim to be your tech support. They say they have detected viruses on other malware on your computer and will ask you to give them remote access to your computers. And then environmental events, fires and floods. Motivation of the attacker actually is the revenge of being fired, money, espionage, or desire for notoriety. Let's go to the next slide. In a phishing attack, you should image the word fish is spelling with the F, as in going fishing. There is bait used to trick you into jumping in the net or biting on their hook. An email pretending to be from your bank with instruction to share your login information, and offer from a prince to share untold millions in an unclaimed gold. There are common phishing attacks. Now imagine if the email addressed to the doctor, the name uses is correct as his title, perhaps they pretend to be from your company's bank and even use the name of your trusted law officer. The fake email is pure phishing attack. So known by the precise methodology used to get past your normal screening system and to increase the chance you'll be believed the instructions. Protect your organization by remaining aware of this attack and training staff and yourself on how to recognize common threats and of the phishing attack. There is a sense of trust. They use your name or some elements of information to establish the connection. They use brands, logos, and links that looks correct, but are misleading or false. They have a sense of urgency compelling you to take action or something bad will occur. And some have actual people ready to respond if you make the mistake or requesting for the information from them. In general, ransomware is software that can encrypt or lock your data behind a secret key or password code. Without that code, your data and network are inaccessible, and you're literally frozen off your own files and information. Worse, the malware, malicious software, after will include the threats, often a short window of time by which you must pay them a ransom and you will get your information unlocked. Failure to meet their demands will cause them to lock or destroy your information. The decision whether or not to pay the ransom is very difficult. Sometimes there are tools available from security vendor that can undo the ransomware, but often there is no available remedy and many will decide to pay. On some occasions, the malware is so poorly crafted that the damage cannot be undone, even if you have paid. A study found that for the ones who paid, only about half found the tool given them by malware author worked, and the other half couldn't get their data back. Cyber criminals do not give money back guarantee for their work. All right, so let's move to the another slide, and I will ask Justina to help us other questions. Please.
Okay, so our next question is, are your employees trained on how to recognize possible fraud? Looks like it's about 50-50. Half of the employees are trained and half aren't.
Okay, thank you, Justina.
You're welcome.
You may have received both at work or at home a telephone call from someone claiming to work for a big computer company. They have noticed viruses on your computer and offer to help you to remove them and repair the damage, of course, for a fee. Or perhaps you have been called by someone purporting to be with the Internal Revenue Services and you have made an error on your taxes and must pay a fine right away, or they will file a lawsuit against you. There are also more personal scams where people target the elderly and claim to be their grandchild in the trouble, needing funds wired right away. Be careful and alert whenever you receive an anticipated phone call such as this, as IRS and any government agency will not communicate with you by telephone. And we'll ask Justina to ask you a couple more questions.
Okay, our final two questions. So do you practice backing up and testing your backups? Any information that you think is crucial in order to run your organization? Definitely your software data and potentially any other files that you might have. Think about all the computers in your office. You might have files that are not on a shared folder because you have a front desk staff that's responsible for scanning lab results, or you have another staff member that's responsible for super bills. So you need to make sure that all that information is backed up. So 50% of people do back their data up and test their backups, and 50% of people aren't sure. And one more question. Are you utilizing cloud-based storage and services? So it can be something like Dropbox, which is everyone familiar with, Google Drive. Are you putting any files on there? Data, are you backing up any data on there? And is it HIPAA compliant? How do you know if it's HIPAA compliant? All right, so the results are that 50% of people are using cloud and 50 aren't. That's a bit surprising, actually. A lot of people are steering towards the cloud these days. So I'm interested in knowing why the people that aren't using it. Maybe it's because of security reasons. All right, Vlad.
Thank you, Justina. Okay, let's go. This very important slide, I think, is there are some sample protection activities, and I will spend a little bit more time on this slide. So the first one is the manage access to asset and information. This includes creating unique accounts for each employee, so there's accountability for the action of users. This also includes ensuring that users only have access to information, computers, and applications that are absolutely needed for their jobs. Even if there is no malicious internal employees, giving an employee too much access or privileges make it easy for an attacker if that employee's account or computer is compromised. Next one is conduct regular backups. One of the most important activities that you can perform is regular backups. Many operating systems now have built-in backup capabilities, or there are many software solutions you can buy to automate this process. You might only need to connect an external hard drive to your computers and configure the software to start their backup on a regular basis. There are also cloud backup solutions available. Just be aware that it can be good practice to keep on backup of the system offline. This means not connected to the computer while it's power on. If all the backup hard drives are always connected to the running computer, any malicious software that infects the computers will very likely infect the backup hard drive as well. Offline backup hard drive can be connected to the computer only when you are ready to conduct the backup. The computer could even be disconnected from the network while the backup completes. And after the external hard drive is removed, the computer could be reconnected to the network. Next one is protect sensitive data. Identify if your business stores or transmits sensitive data, such as personal information about the patients, personal health information, or financial information. If so, make sure that this data is protected by encryption, both while it's stored on computers as well as when it's transmitted to other parties. This is why it's important to understand the data flows within your business and to external parties. Next one is patch operating system and the applications. Vulnerability in software is one of the primary ways that adversaries compromise computer system and gain access to business network and information. Therefore, it's important to regularly update both your operating system and application that are installed on your computers and the devices. If possible, enable automatic updates. Otherwise, it might help to set periodic reminders to check for updates. It's also a good idea to uninstall and software or capabilities that are not necessary for business purposes. Create response and recovery plans. It's important to plan for situation in which critical business process may be disrupted. What will you do in those cases to ensure that the business keeps operating even if they reduce capacity? This plan includes business continuity and disaster recovery. Business continuity focus on keeping the business process operating, even if that's involved using a manual process or any other methods. For example, if a key business process is processing customer submissions for the web portal, other manual process that can be done in case the web portal is unavailable. Disaster recovery plans focus more on planning for disruption for business due to damage to facility or damage due to environmental events. It's important to plan these scenarios ahead of time to ensure that business survives. Protect your network. In addition to updating the software via the patches, there are important considerations for securing the business network. This includes installing the host-based firewalls and other host-based protections such as endpoint security products. This can block malicious traffic or suspect attacks. If your business utilizes wireless technology for communication, wireless access point can be secured to ensure that only authorized systems connect to the network, and that communication between devices are encrypted and not able to be seen by others. It may also be helpful to consider web and email filters to block users from visiting malicious website or receiving emails from malicious actors. Train your employees. Employees need to understand the cybersecurity expectation for protecting their businesses. Employees should be presented with the company policies on cybersecurity and sign they understand the company policies and understand the related consequences for non-compliance. Training should be refreshed on regular basis. Okay, and on these slides, just want to show you top 5 solutions implemented after ransomware attacks. 41% was the set up some email scanning. 43% for data backup and recovery. 44% is for endpoint protections. 48% for security operation and center. And 48% is for the security awareness training. And here under these slides, I just want to give you the couple more tips for every day. Be careful of email attachment, web links, and voices called from unknown numbers. Don't click on link or open an attachment that you are not expecting. Use separate personal and business computer, mobile device, and accounts. Try to use multi-factor authentications where offered. Do not download software from unknown web page. Never give out your username and password. Consider using a password management application to store your password for you, such as LastPass or 1Password. So this is it for my side for today, and then I'll ask Amar, right, to present this slide.
Yes, thank you so much, Vlad. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining, and thank you for your presentation. For starters, basically what we're trying to do here today is we wanted to make sure that we're raising awareness to all our practices and all our customers joining. And basically, this is the reason or the why that we always talk about, and Vlad covered this quite well. Now, the second point that we're trying to do here today is we wanted to make sure that you understand as well the consideration of what we're trying to do. Consideration phase is considering what are the steps needed to ensure that the business is going the right way. So basically today, which is the first episode of our series of webinars that we're going to do in the near future, we talked about cybersecurity, and moving forward, we're going to talk about like data protection when it comes to backup, and different other topics that are important for your business to ensure that you are making sure that your business is secured when it comes to the IT infrastructure. Our speech today was focusing on one thing, which is the awareness part, and the 3 steps that we need to do in the consideration, which is the how. Is first one is assessing your IT infrastructure. We call it anything that we can measure, we can improve. But if you can't measure something, you wouldn't be able to actually improve it. So our business help you to measure and assess every part of your IT infrastructure and make sure that you have a report that could tell you exactly all the obstacles or all the good things about your IT infrastructure. The second step will be taking the necessary actions, execution and implementation, which is providing you with every single thing that we can do for you to make sure that your network is secured, you have your email secured, data is backed up and everything. And the last step will be monitoring, which is we keep on monitoring your business to ensure that your business is going the right way. So as for every customer, for Kenneth, for Monica, for Roger and Dennis, today we're providing you with a free IT assessment to your business. What we can do exactly is we're going to be able to assess with you through a remote control, assessing every single thing when it comes to your business, and providing you with a report that could tell you all the obstacles and all the issues that you have in your IT to make sure that you can fix it. If you have an IT guy inside the business, then great, we can actually provide him with that report to fix all the issues that you have. And if you don't, you could just come back to MicroWise Technology and we're going to be able to handle and to help you the way it should. All you need to do is click on healthcare IT company, the link that you can see in the presentation. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. And the next step is to fill in the information and send to book an appointment with Nick Adams. He's responsible of making sure that he connects you to an IT person and we can go with the assessment. So I'm just going to right now share the link through the chat. All you need to do is just to click on it and fill in the information, and you're going to have a slot booked with Nick Adams, and then you can just go ahead and move with the IT assessment. In a few days, you will receive a report and you will receive a call with the report telling you exactly all the issues and points that needs to be fixed. And if everything is great, then it's just a checkpoint to ensure that your business is going the right way. Justina, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Well, we just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to watch the webinar and help your business be protected against cyber attacks. So now I'll just open up the floor. We have about 5 minutes or so remaining to answer any questions that anyone might have. So everybody's muted. If you'd like, you can unmute yourself or feel free to type a question into the chat. I'll ask a question. Vlad, what would you say is, if I wasn't doing anything at my practice right now, what would you say is the #1 thing that I should implement in order to begin my journey for cyber securing my practice?
Right. So first of all, you need to identify what's the important on your network. Do you have any database? If you're using any medical software, you need to first to set up the backup of this medical software. Second, you need to think, do you have any firewall installed on your network? Probably you need to set up the firewall. The third thing, do you have any antiviruses installed on all your computers or not? This is and then the last one, and also it's very important, are you installing any Windows updates on your computer? Are you updating your software or not? This is the first 4 steps you need to do. Yes.
Great, thanks. And if anyone's not sure if you're updating your software or you're just looking for some recommendations, Nick can actually, if you book an appointment with him, he can help answer any questions that you have, and we can give you some consulting on the next steps that you should take. Everybody's practice is unique. Everyone has a unique situation when it comes to staff and how your records and environment is set up. So we're experts in the medical healthcare industry, so we can help you in your specific situation. All right, so I don't think anyone has any other questions. So again, thank you everyone for joining today, and look out for an email from us with the link and with a recording from today's session. Thanks, Vlad. Thanks,
Thank you.
Amr.
Thank you, everything. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Justina. Thank you, Vlad.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.